Okay.
So, hello and welcome. This is Erica Glessing, and you're on the Erica Glessing Show, and I have a beautiful guest today. She is a best-selling author several times over. This book is her baby. It's called The Pharaohs Builders, and it is just stunning. And Heather has a capacity with money, so we actually today are going to talk about money on the Erica Glessing Show. Welcome, Heather.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here. I'm so excited.
I know, right? Well, I'm curious. Tell me a little bit how your life has changed since your book came out.
Oh my gosh, it's been so fun. It's the first time that I really created something that was pretty much all my creation and not working with a lot of other people. I mean, I worked with you as my publisher and a few people, but the real base of the creation of it was kind of my own thing. And it had been a really long time since I had done that. So just that in itself felt really, really good to tap into that creativity and the whole creation process of it. So that was just, yay.
Well, one of the things I've been kind of interested in lately is that expression of dominant energy. And kind of, like when you walk in the room and then quickly you look around and you say, oh, I'm going to moderate myself this way because that person's there. Oh, I'm going to act this way because, I better not do this because that person's there. Or we never do that with our families, right?
Yeah, hardly ever.
I never tune into how my kids are feeling and moderate how loud I am.
Yeah.
Or how much rap I play.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, and don't worry, everybody. We're gonna do some nice money facilitation, and so we're our money situation on this call. A little bit about that, sort of being the dominant energy in a room, and that's what that felt like when you communicated about your book, like that it was, tell me a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking that. It's an interesting question. I actually, in the creative process of it, I actually allowed myself to be that dominant energy in the sense of I didn't consider anyone else's point of view when I wrote it. So I was like, what's my point of view? What do I really want to say? What would I really like to create? What would I really like to put out in the world? And unfiltered, unchecked, without shrinking it. And so it's kind of carried over into my interactions with people, when they hear about the book or they read the book. Not that I'm dominating, but that the energy of it is such a presence that people, they start reading it and they can't put it down, and they read it in 24 hours or 36 hours, or they just know they have to get it and they don't know why, but they get 2 copies because they know they have to give it to another friend. So that's that thing of that, like, undeniable presence of energy that the book has been so fun to play with. Yeah, I love the chapter headings. That's an actual hieroglyphic from Egypt. It's on one of, it's there. It's an actual copy of a hieroglyphic.
Yeah. I know. Well, this book is available as a paper book and as a Kindle download. So if this is, if you even think you might get a little bit of nourishment from the book, I certainly did. And I love it too. You can see by the way I'm playing with it.
Yeah. I love it.
I had read it so many times, and then when it came out, I read it again.
Yeah.
It's like a real book. I'm like, it's a real book now. It's not 400 pages of PDF on my car drive.
Yeah. I've read it too.
I know. It's got these wonderful characters that really come to life in the story. It's so beautiful. So, I love this. As we look at, money, and as we look at shifting into ease around this topic, one of the things that shows up for me, I'll just go ahead and throw you a nice hairy problem. Is,
Sure.
It's pretty germane because both my parents were writers, and I was raised in a publishing writing household. and making money was really kind of, we grew up at the base of Stanford, like in the education. I went to University of California, like it was this sort of noble poverty. Like, let's be completely poor, live in one of the richest places in the world, and have nothing, but we write. And there was, do you see, like, I'm like, even when I look at it, I'm like, why did it have to be that?
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that is super common, the pride of poverty and the nobility of whatever the profession is or whatever the lifestyle is, that is, it's like the point of view that that's more valuable or more important than also including money with that. You know, it's yeah, I'm very familiar with that. My parents have the same kind of point of view of pride of poverty. It's not with the point of view of academia. It's more like hippie point of view, you know.
Oh, right. They live in the land, right?
Yeah.
The land, and you got to be raised in this weird...
Just out in the country with, you know, you grow your own food, you live off the grid, it's low, you know, small footprint lifestyle. And a lot of the point of view was that money just didn't really matter, while at the same time being highly stressed about the lack of money all the time.
Nice. I want to acknowledge for the listeners, because I feel like that's a big point, is there's this tendency not to see money or not to look at money or have it be crass or considered less than, and yet have it consume because there isn't enough of it. So then it's like, by not letting it, what's an alternative way of looking at it?
Well, like what I just said really is like money wasn't included. You know, it was disdained, it was thought as a problem, it was needed, but not willing to have it. So it's like there's so many points of view about not valuing having it. That's like the basis point of view that I've found in my own life, is that it just, to actually have money was not a consideration. Like, you work to spend it, you strive to have it, but don't get it. You know, there's all these different things that are, none of them are about actually having money.
Tell me if I'm just getting started on this, like, breaking up with poverty, like if I'm just like, okay, we're done, you know, you're out of here, like, see ya, like, it's been really nice the last 54 years with you. And, you know, today's my first day of not being in poverty. I'm just messing with you, like, in that sense of tuning into the listeners. So if today I'm just saying, okay, I'm ready, what does that look like? What kinds of things can I kind of do with me to have things change?
Yeah, so the first two things that I would look at is to really, like, explore what was the family's point of view about money. Like, what is the point of view that you grew up with? Because when you can see what is, it makes it a whole lot easier to change it. Like, if, you know, so some of it can be what your family said all the time about money. Like, you know, rich people are mean and awful and terrible, so why would you want to be like a rich person? Or, you know, whatever the point of view is that they have, it's about disdaining money or not liking money, or like always worrying about paying the bills. So all that energy, everything that brings up, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So every family has its own little unique version of those points of view about disdaining or hating money, or not willing to have it. So, you know, get clear, what are the points of view and the unspoken points of view that your parents or family or upbringing have about money. So once you get clear about that, you can use the clearing statement that we just used. And some of it could just be those weird feelings, like it may not be super cognitive what the point of view is, but it's like, if you think about money, and all of a sudden you're like, want to break a sweat and feel nauseated. much ease with money, right?
Right. Well,
all those sensations and feelings, and like it's fuzzy and weird and uncomfortable and you don't like it, right? So you can also just destroy and uncreate all those energies. You don't have to define all of them. You can just, that weird feeling that comes up. Yeah.
Well, I've always felt like more that I bought into my mom's point of view more so than my dad's point of view. But as you were talking, I was getting this total vision, not vision, but I was getting the perception of what, and maybe I've already done a lot of work on her stuff, because I started seeing my dad basically still to this day, brilliant writer. And really, there's something like in his brain where like money, he just doesn't get it at all.
Right.
Like there's just a complete out of tune with, and he may send me some, or he may tell my brother, oh, send Erica $1,000. And my brother will be like, you have 300. And he'll be like, really? I thought I had 8,000. And like, it's like this, and I'm not saying like, but it's just like, what, so that's kind of just this lack of awareness, right? Or
lack of awareness of money, where it's just, it's not even included in his realm of, like, in his life. It's not included in his life. When you're not willing to be aware of the money you have or don't have, it's just not being aware of it. It's like shoving it out of your universe, or like if you decide you don't get money, then you just decide not to have it because you don't get it.
I never do that, Heather.
I know. I was just pulling it out of the.
Oh, no. And by the way, this was not what we were supposed to do. I just want everyone to know. We were not supposed to work on Erica, just so you know. I invited a beautiful person who asked for help from Heather. You know what? So how fun is it that we get to work on Erica? And I love it because, I think one of the things that I notice with you, and I am always drawn to this ability you have to, and I think it is this awareness, because again, when we were working on the book together, it was always like, this is what we could do. This is what maybe is normally done. This is maybe like the thing that you do when you do this. And then there was what does this book require? Yeah. Like it was like this complete openness to information without judgment of the information. That's, I think, what I was present to. How does that work for you? How are you able to do that, babe?
Good question. Well, so one part is that for me, what's true and real is that everything has a consciousness of its own. Every single molecule in all of creation has consciousness. And we as beings are also conscious. And part of how that shows up is awareness of energy. So as a being, we are aware of energy already. We're just never taught to recognize that or use it for our advantage or use it to help ourselves. So as a being who's aware of energy, a book, for example, like the Pharaohs Builder, has a consciousness of its own already before it's even been created. So when I said yes to creating it, that energy and that consciousness was already there. And what I was doing was like physically actualizing it. I was putting words to the energy. I was writing down, what it would be. So to me, it was something that was already alive, and I could talk to it. I could ask it questions. I could be aware of the energy, and I could be aware of the life that it would like to have. Yes. So what if we are the same? Yeah, sure. What if we're the same and we could include money in our life? And what if that's an energy that we're being? Wow. That's what we do. Wow. So like, have you included the energies and consciousness of money in your life and in your reality? I think I've hidden it, resisted it, avoided it. But as soon as you said that, like I saw the Erica Glessing show
had an energy of its own that if I didn't deny it, would be born.
Right.
It was like it knew it wanted to exist. And I argued with it for a little while about the title.
Uh-huh.
I was like, really? Okay. You know, because you know how you name a show like The Magic of Possibilities, or you'll name a show like, you know, The Crazy Girl's Guide of Living Happy, or whatever. Or How Not to Be Perfect in a Perfect World, or something, right? Like everybody names their shows these like really cool names.
Right.
And so my show told me what it wanted, and then I have to tell you, the logo got created. He normally takes a while, and he did A&E's logo. He's brilliant. He's like really cool.
Yeah.
The H for the History Channel, he made that font. It's an
wow.
Michael H.
Yeah.
And when we did mine, he did my signature. And it was so interesting because I was sitting there, and the show itself like basically showed me the logo, and I'm not a designer.
Yeah.
And it just kind of said, like, it was so weird. And I took a piece of paper and I just scribbled the way I scribble. And I scanned it and I sent it to Michael, and I said, hey, you're the wizard. If you need my signature for the logo, here it is.
Yeah.
So he took it and he made it, you know,
what it is.
Legible.
Yeah. Well, I turned it into a beautiful piece of art.
He turned it into art. And it was with so much ease, Heather, that it had to have already somehow existed in another reality. Like, I loved it when you built your cover for your book.
Right. Well, the cover was just how you described it. It's like the energy was so prominent that when I talked to the designer, I gave, you know, the written out description of what I was asking for, and she submitted, and literally that was what she submitted, except for different colors, and camels instead of horses. I mean, she literally like nailed it on the first try, basically.
Which is insane.
Right, which is like, how does that ever happen, right? Right.
Completely defies
anything logical. Except if you're aware of energy and you're willing to follow the energy and speak to the energy, you know. So it's like, however, I don't know how that's possible. I just know that it's possible. And I know that the designer did that.
So now let's take those learnings, which are so much fun for me to talk about, and so much easier for me to talk about than abundance and cash and having money, and let's shift it back over into that topic so we can help listeners who might be like us for some reason. Maybe, I'm just saying. Maybe. In our tribe. I mean, really, right?
Taking a wild stab.
It's possible. Yeah. And Heather, I want everyone to know that Heather does have a superior capacity with this and does teach it. And you can actually contact her, and I'll make sure people can see that information. Because she actually can, she's a facilitator and can actually do this work at a more in-depth, more insanely wild level with you personally versus hanging out with me in front of God and everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Well, and it's something that I've practiced for the last over 20 years now. You know, I've actively pursued practicing being aware of energy, putting words to energy, following energy, listening to energy, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I've been practicing for a long, long time. So thanks. I'd be happy to work with anyone for sure. I do private sessions. So let's bring it back to this. So where should we go? Okay, so money has an energy to it, right? And you've talked about, Erica, not having money growing up. So right now, what would it energetically feel like if you had $1 million in your bank account? Like, just notice the energy, not any point of view, but just the energy of $1 million and having $1 million. Not you're going to get it, not it's coming. You actually have it now already, $1 million.
Okay.
So notice the energy that comes up. Just thinking about it, right? What's that energy like for you?
Well, you know, I started getting like some of the viewpoints of I got so the one I got, which I wasn't aware of, was rich people are lazy, which I don't even think is true. But as soon as I saw $1 million, first of all, the people I know with a lot of money, $1 million isn't a lot of money. Like a part of their repertoire, but it's not like if they lost it, it would matter. Like the people I know, I play with people who have lots and lots. Like I'm in philanthropy, so I have people with like. So when you said $1 million, first the first, it was a really interesting feeling of it, but I wouldn't say any of it was joy. I wasn't aware of what you think you'll get when you get it if you've been wanting it so bad for so long. Like you think, oh my God, if I just had $1 million, like I could be like me more, or right.
We have all these points of view about what would happen, but when you realize that even just thinking about it, it brings up all this weird stuff like points of view and not comfortable and anything but just relaxing, going, oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, I got this shit taken care of.
Well, and even that going into hyperdrive of all the things you could spend it on, that's not the same as having it. That's spending.
Ooh, say that again.
So when you imagine having $1 million, if you instantly are going into all the ways you could spend it, your point of view is that the value of it is to spend it, not to have it.
Nice.
So what I'm talking about is what would it be like to truly have $1 million, not to spend, not to do anything with, just to have.
Oh, nice.
So that's a totally different energy. It's a different point of view. It's a different energy to function from. And if that's something you've never allowed yourself to have, then, it's like it's willing to be different. You have to really change anything, to change money or a relationship or anything in your life that you're looking to change. You have to be willing to have all the energies be different, because the energies that you're functioning as right now is what is creating
life right now.
Yeah, it's what's creating your life now.
That is something that's really I love changing, of course, being an Erica. And, whenever I have felt significant change, like right now I'm living in a really nice house.
Yeah.
It's very different from a year ago.
Yeah.
When I was living in a really horrible house.
Yeah.
And so, and different is good, but different is also different.
It could be uncomfortable.
So in the beginning, there's like, every room is like 3 times the sizes of my old place. And so there's no furniture for it.
Yeah.
And so people are like, oh, poor Erica, doesn't have furniture. But it's pretty interesting when you walk into my house and there's like no furniture. Like people are like, oh, you really don't have furniture.
Right.
Like you were saying, I thought you meant like you don't have a lot.
Right.
And then I actually had someone come to clean up my old house.
Yeah.
And he was like, you don't have much. And I was like, well, I know. I made some interesting choices.
Yeah.
But I have a beautiful family, I think I'm not trying to say poor me, because I'm done with that too,
Okay, let me stop you there, actually.
Look at all this.
Yeah, so what I wanted to point out is why you, like that but, and then you want to go about your family. Those are places where you're it's like justifying the point of view that you've been functioning from.
That poverty's okay because I got people who love me.
Right. Which is, it's like, that's not wrong. And it's not bad to have those points of view. The thing is, what is that point of view creating? And
why can't we be a both world? Like, why can't we have family and $1 million?
Right, exactly. And what is your point of view? Because it's real easy. I can see you referencing your family's point of view over and over, but what is your point of view actually about money? It sounded like from the very beginning what you said is that, like, when you're talking about your money, your family not having money, and your question was like, why does it have to be that way? That seemed like you don't have the same point of view that your family had.
I don't.
Right.
I don't, because actually most of my life, I've surrounded myself with people with lots and lots of money, and
Yeah.
and I've been in total ease with them, like in ease with their houses and at ease in their worlds, and
Right.
completely like comfortable, huge offices that they give me when I help them give out their money, and just
Yeah.
huge, glorious views of everything.
Right. So
To me, like it felt very much like a belongingness.
right. So that's that second thing that I was going to talk about at the beginning, which is getting clear about what your point of view is that's different than your family and maybe different than what you've allowed yourself. So it's really like taking time to be honest with yourself about what is your point of view about having money that's maybe different than what you grew up around. Because it's very similar for me. It's like I grew up around a lot of people with no money and the pride of poverty of that. But personally, for me, I like money. I like having it. I do like spending it too, but I like having it, which that one thing is so different than everyone I grew up around who none of them have money.
Tell me, this just showed up for me. It was something in one of the classes I took from you. It was like carry $100 around. What was that?
Yeah, so one of the things to make that switch, if you don't have as much money as you'd really like to have, and you'd like to start actually having money so that not only do you have enough for your bills, but you also have enough to keep and have also, is to start carrying the amount of money you would if you were so wealthy that money wasn't an issue.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
That I could do.
Yeah, cool. So when I first started, I had double my income in debt, and I really did not know how to have money. So I started with $100, right? That was what I could scrounge together to hold on to and not
Play this game.
Yeah. Yeah. So, $100
Good money student.
Yeah. So like having $100 and not spending it and keeping it was like a big deal when I started, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna have $100 and I'm not ever gonna spend it. I'm just gonna keep it in my wallet so I can look at it and tell myself. So the reason I did that is so that I could no longer tell myself I don't have money, because that was one of my internal dialogues: is I don't have any money. I don't have any money. I don't have any money. So by literally having $100 that I don't spend and I could no longer truly tell myself I don't have money.
True, right?
So yeah.
Right. What about this?
Yeah, I'm like, well, I have $100.
I love it.
So for me, that was kind of my reason behind it, and the point of view that I was working to change that just was so running my life. You know, it was everything that came up was I didn't have the money for it, which was my parents' point of view.
Right.
And I adopted and made it true for me.
Oh, yeah, and I do that to my kids too, so it's nicely being handed down.
Yeah, right. Right, which is what families do.
A pinch of money. Or here's another thing I do to them that I really don't like that I do. I'll say, well, I paid for that, so you better enjoy it.
Ah, right. So the value is on you having paid for it, not on their choice to enjoy or not enjoy. That's a good one.
Yeah, we all send them over. Right.
So Erica, who said that to you?
Oh yeah, both my parents, right?
Yeah, right. So that's
and my mom would buy me things that were her energy.
Yeah.
And then pay for them, and then I should enjoy them. But they'd be like, her choice of coat, not mine. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, well, that one looks slimming, so you should wear that one.
Right.
And it wouldn't be coral, that's for sure. It'd be navy blue or something. Right. I'd be like, that's nice, Mom.
Right. Right.
Ew.
Right. So that's
not.
Yeah. So that's another thing where you can like destroy and uncreate everything you did to buy that point of view.
Wow, I totally didn't. I was really thinking that was my own baloney.
Right. Well, anything that you're telling yourself that is creating smallness or limitation or less
is not yours.
it's probably not yours. And even if it is yours, you can still choose to change it and let it go.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I could always talk to you for like a million years. But I'd like you to just share with us give us a little tiny bit of a taste of what you're doing now, because I understand you are in the middle of something next.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you. Yeah. So it is a series, the Pharaohs Builders, just the first book, and I'm not sure how many. It might be a lot. There might be 6 or 7 or something like that. Book 1 of the Pharaohs Land series. So yeah, I'm deep into the next book called The Pharaohs Movers, and I'm actually starting to write some of the other ones additionally. So they're kind of all coming at once. So, like, really, all at once, people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Juicy.
Yeah. So it's the book, I left it on a cliffhanger, so the next book is really going to pick up right where it left off.
Right.
So that should be satisfying, for what happens next.
I know. I'm so excited about that. Well, tell us. Well, you can find this book on Amazon. So
yeah,
go to the Pharaohs Builders, or Heather Periwinkle Smith will find you, or Heather P. Smith. Either way, you'll find her. And tell us like where we can find you if we want to get through more of this money stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. You can email me directly, heather@accessconsciousness.com. That's the most direct way to reach me for facilitation. So I invite you to email me that way. And you can check out my website, heatherpsmith.com, and that has links to everything that I do. So the links to the books and other websites I have, and to contact me for facilitation. I guess you could also email me there, heather@heatherpsmith.com as well. I didn't think of that.
I love it. Well, I'm just so joyful that you came to the Erica Glessing show, and that I hope people listening got a little taste of shifting and changing, and I certainly did. I get lots in the way that I change too is I kind of like, it goes in and then it kind of hangs out there for a little bit, and then I start making different choices. So it's kind of a subtle thing with me,
Yeah, and it can be all of that. That shifting from having a one point of view that dominates your life and letting that point of view go, and either having no point of view or having a different point of view that works better for you. So it's how it can be for all of us. So thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure being on the show with you, Erica. I'm so happy for you with this new creation.
I know.
That's great. Yay. Thanks, everyone.